from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, April 23rd. So we have the moon in Gemini all day, making us a little bit more interested in social interactions. Why? Because we can bounce ideas off of other people. We can have new ideas be triggered and activated in just a general conversation. And of course, we are just looking to spice things up, looking outside of ourselves for stimulation, for activation. And we're really kind of curious, looking for something new to do or something new to learn. This is a time when we are definitely more curious than anything else, coming up with a set of questions that we really require answers to. And because Mercury, the ruler over this Gemini energy, is currently retrograde, there are more questions coming up from the past than there are questions about ourselves in moving forward. Again, this whole back to the future vibe that we're currently in. We are going to see more progress moving forward by diving back into the past. So there are 9 different aspects here today. 8 of them involve the moon. The moon, right out of the gate, will come up to bump into conjunct Venus. Venus, of course, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, already in Gemini energy. This is the reason for us really questioning whether or not we're happy with our lives, whether we're happy in our relationships, happy with our current path. In this Gemini energy, of course, we are wondering if the grass is greener on the other side, if we have to make some changes to our lives in order to provide us with the happiness, the joy, the pleasure, the safety, security, stability that we're recognizing that we're currently lacking. And so with the moon kind of coming up to and teaming up with Venus, this could go one of 2 ways. Either we are going to be very aware of what it is that we are not happy with, not content with at all, or this is going to push us to really identify what it is that we actually want to do from here. There's this emotional realization, this emotional awareness of what it is that we want, need, and desire in our realms. And of course, that is the first step to being able to actually manifest the new elements that we want to bring to life. The moon will interact with Mars. Mars, of course, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, even our anger. Mars is not in his happiest place. He's in Cancer energy, a water sign, very emotional, very kind of in alignment with seeing where it is that we have to create a new foundation in our lives, especially when it comes to taking care of ourselves. Mars being in Cancer energy is the reason why we weren't able to make as much progress in moving forward as we would actually prefer to see at this point. And now that Mercury's retrograde, we're definitely not moving forward. We're doing a cha-cha-cha, if you will, examining the life in which we've created, old inspirations, old ideas, realizing whether or not we want to bring them to life or whether or not they're okay to be disconnected from, let go of altogether. The moon interacts with Pluto, the great transformer himself, which is definitely going to shine a bright light on where it is that we have to move into our mental plane, really take a good look at our narrative, really kind of see where it is that fears and doubts and insecurities are coming up for us, especially when it comes to identifying what it is that we actually are interested in, that we actually want to pursue from here. The minute that we realize what it is that we want, we equally realize what it is that is going to block us from actually going after what it is that we want. Because Pluto does a deep dive in the psyche first and foremost, we are going to really kind of examine some mental blockages that are taking place, some not so nice narratives that aren't as supportive and encouraging as we need them to be in order to kind of boost our confidence, our self-esteem, in order to make the kind of major changes that we know that we have to make. So there is this element where there's going to be an intense focus on our mental plane, on our narrative. And because Mercury, Gemini's ruler, is retrograde, there is going to be a lot of confusion before we are going to actually see that clarity. The moon does kind of interact with Mercury shortly after, which is going to be an interesting type of energy. What I suspect is going to happen is we are going to have an opportunity to see a choice point, a decision point, a crossroads point in what it is that is blocking us from getting our heart and head on the same page in alignment with one another. The moon, of course, in Gemini, Mercury, of course, in Taurus, there is this kind of focus on our physical realms, on what it is that we've brought to life, what it is that we've already created, what it is that's already in existence, and whether or not we're still in alignment with that. And most of us are going to realize that there are some elements that we've already created in our physical realms that actually need to be let go of. We need to close the door on those things as we are realizing in this choice point between the distance in our heart and our head, what it is that is actually triggering us, activating us, pushing us into a new direction in moving forward, and where it is that, of course, we have to let certain aspects of ourselves and of our lives go in order to have the space to actually create something new in its place. The moon will sextile with Chiron, the wounded healer. This is going to be a beautiful energy to actually have an aha moment, an epiphany in our mental plane, in our emotions, to see where it is that we are growing from here, what it is that we are actively healing in this present moment, especially when it comes to our identity wounds, our pain and trauma wounds, recognizing the blockages in our emotions and in our mental plane, preventing us from moving forward on the path that we desire to pursue, and having these realizations. Of course, Chiron, being that wounded healer, is providing us with some very intense mental and emotional processing. The moon will then bump into Uranus, the great awakener, in such a way that will provide us with a little bit of attention, a little bit of a mental breakdown, if you will, just enough time to have a mental breakthrough. Of course, this Uranian energy likes to provide us with aha moments, moments of epiphanies and revelations, so that once you know, you can't unknow. Once you have a realization, you can't unknow that realization. This Uranian energy is very focused, first of all, on where it is that we're overly attached to the lives that we've created, to the people that we've created relationships with, to some of the elements in our lives that are no longer really supporting us and moving forward. And in that realization, we have an epiphany on what it is that we have to change, what it is that we have to build in its place. So very much the breakdown before we have this essential breakthrough. The moon will semi-square with the sun, a semi-square, of course, a little bit of a tension point. The sun shining a bright light in this Taurus energy. What do we have to build? What do we have to create? What do we have to maintain? But even more than that, because Mercury is retrograde and we're in eclipse season, this isn't about what it is that we kind of have to do to move forward. This is about what we have to rectify, reconcile as far as the past goes. So anytime that the moon and the sun come together, there's an overlap because the moon represents the past while the sun represents our future. And what we're left here is realizing the gap in between the two. And standing here in the present moment between these two polarizing energies should reveal to us what it is that we have to build as far as a bridge goes in order to get us from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. The moon will then go ahead and semi-square the true node. That true node, of course, in Taurus energy as well. And this is going to kind of provide some blockages in our emotions, in our mental plane, in realizing where it is that we aren't really ready to go to the next stage of building, the next stage of growth, the next stage of healing. Most of this is because we're not supposed to be moving forward as of yet, taking that plan and strategy into action. We have some looking back, some reflection, some revision, some reworkings to do because of this retrograde energy. So this is where we start to really question the path that we thought we were going to be walking and moving forward, because of course, eclipse energy is throwing some wild card events at us that we really weren't kind of planning for, weren't contemplating that we were even going to have to deal with. And so now we're kind of back to the drawing board with some particular plans, some particular ideas, and of course, some particular dreams, visions, and projects. Now, Mercury, who is in this Taurus energy, very much retrograde, is sextiling, which is a beautiful jam, with Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our passion, our desires, our inspiration, our motivation, and yes, even our anger. And as you know, Mars is very much in this Cancer energy. What we can kind of expect is a sharpness a very brief sharpness, let's say, in our mental plane. We are acting as the observer, which is a beautiful thing. We are very in touch with our emotions, with our intuition because of this Cancer energy, which I love. There is this, I'm going to say, boost in vibes, boost in enthusiasm, boost in confidence. There's almost like we're on this verge of excitement where new inspirations, new ideas, new interests, new aha moments are really kind of inspiring us to look forward more so than we are looking back. But here's the thing. A lot of this is realizing that old ideas, old projects, old goals are coming back up for renewal and back up for us to kind of breathe new life into them. So yeah, we might have a particular desire to do something new, to create something new, to move forward, but it's actually incorporating a lot of the old elements got pushed on the back burner. So there is this, again, very interesting dynamic that we're moving through right now, where in order to move forward, we kind of have to move back. This is going to kind of show us where it is that we could be reviving a lot of inspiration, a lot of motivation, a lot of ideas, goals, projects, and really have a brand new level of passion and inspiration to actually see those particular ideas come to life.